Hello, and welcome to the third episode of this All About Me series. We've been going through all of my plush collection. We started in episode 1 with just my Mickey Mouse plush collection. Then we moved into episode 2 where we looked at my Disney plush collection as a whole. I gave you a little clue about what today's collection was going to be. Did you catch it? I told you it wasn't going to be Disney, and I left the answer in the end card at the end of the last video. Did you see it? Check it out. Well, our princess is in a different castle. That's clearly a reference to Super Mario Bros. 1. Which means that today, as you can see with my shirt choice, we are looking at all of my Nintendo plushes that I have. Now, Nintendo in particular is another great collection of things that I have. If this series continues, if people end up liking it and they find it interesting, I'd love to showcase all of my Nintendo collectibles that I have beyond just my plush figures. But since we're doing plushes, my next big collection after Disney plushes is Nintendo plushes. So, join me today and take a look at all of my great plushes from that magical world of Nintendo. Alright, so where else would we start if we were looking at a series on Nintendo plushes than with the game that really launched home console gaming into the 1980s? Sure, we can look at Atari and all of those great games, and they were great. I love games like Pong and River Raid and Space Invaders. There's so many great games that came out on the Atari, but really it was the Nintendo Entertainment System when that debuted in 1985 that really transformed home video game entertainment. And it was a game that came packaged in with the system that really set the standard, especially the platforming standard, Super Mario Brothers. So, of course, we have to start here with Super Mario himself. There he is, my Super Mario plush. This one looks pretty good. He's definitely, not in his, pixelated form, his 8-bit pixelated form, but it works. We have Mario. And of course, it is Super Mario Brothers, so we would be remiss if we didn't also have his brother Luigi here with him. So Mario and Luigi together, the Mario Brothers, they are right there, front and center. Now, I love this series so much. I love all of the Mario games, from Super Mario Brothers, all the way up to Super Mario Odyssey, all the games in between, Super Mario RPG, Super Mario World, Mario Kart, Mario Party. I really enjoy all of the different types of Mario games. So it's not going to be a surprise to you then that the majority of the plush figures I have come from the Super Mario Brothers series. Super Mario World introduced one of Mario's most iconic sidekicks, which of course is Yoshi. Everybody likes Yoshi. Yoshi went on to spawn his own series of games, things like Yoshi's Island, Yoshi's Cookie, so many different things. So Yoshi's Crafted World and Woolly World and all sorts of different things. So Yoshi, here he is. I got a decent sized Yoshi here. Now, of course, usually along on the journey with Mario is a little timid friend. Sometimes they only are there to provide items. Sometimes they might be giving you stars in Mario Party. But we have here a Toad, the blue Toad, of course. Don't have the red and white one in plush form, at least I can find. We might see a red and white Toad later on in a different series, but we have Toad as well too. So we got Mario, we have Luigi, we have Yoshi, and we have Toad. Undoubtedly, one of the best games in the mainline series of games is Super Mario Bros. 3. It was the pinnacle of platforming on the Nintendo Entertainment System. We have amazing things there like the warp whistles, we have all of the different flying airships, we have all of those great moments there in that game. And of course, one of the things that happens in the game is Mario can transform. And so Mario can transform into a frog, he can transform into a statue, but of course the most iconic in my opinion, which fits with the earlier video, I like raccoons, so Mario can look like a raccoon. It's not quite a raccoon, but it's a tanuki. So we have Tanuki Mario from Super Mario Bros. 3. So it's a Japanese version of a raccoon, for lack of a better description. This makes it really great, and this is one we eventually can turn into the statue from this. Okay, we want to see that he can stand in place and switch. So pretty great when we have Tanuki Mario. He also had a great transformation in Super Mario 3D World, which of course I would like, which should be no surprise to you. This was a great game. He was able to go through clear pipes and all sorts of different things, but most importantly, Mario was able to transform into a cat. So I have Cat Mario here. Great game, being able to climb up walls and all sorts of different things, but Cat Mario here fits my theme. You know I like cats, I have a cat, so Super Mario cat version right here. I'm not just limited, of course, to the heroes of the Super Mario world. I have some of the villains as well too. So I have the most iconic villain of them all, the most rank and file pawn of them all, the Goomba. He looks pretty angry in this shot, but we have a Goomba, easily stompable. Probably why he's so angry. They always seem to want to get Mario, but Mario always has the stomp on them for sure. So we have a Goomba. Now later, especially in Super Mario Brothers 3, these guys are really, really important, and sometimes they maybe led to your death. What am I talking about? A bomb. Now these guys you could pick up and throw eventually in Super Mario Brothers 3 and do things like that, and in later series, but boy, they would be walking towards you and you could stop them, pick them up, get rid of them, you know, but I'm sure they led to many deaths, especially on airships, as bullet bills were flying at you, and as these bombs were all over the place. But here's one here. It doesn't look so deadly and dangerous. It looks soft and cute. Bomb, everybody. So we have our Goomba, but of course, usually in that very first scene of Super Mario Brothers, you would then jump up and get, you know, some coins or something, and then you would go toward the pipe, and possibly in a pipe would be a piranha plant. Yes, friends, the dreaded piranha plant in the pipe. A classic Mario villain, if ever there was one. Timing these things out could be a pain. Once you figured it out, you usually did okay. I do have a Koopa somewhere, one of the little turtle guys, but I don't know where he is right now. And that's okay. We'll see plenty of Koopas later on. I also have this famous Mario enemy, Dry Bones. Yes, Dry Bones. You'd usually see these in one of the castles. They'd be scurrying across, you'd jump on them, and you thought they were dead, and then the bones would come back up, and you'd have to do it all over again. So it's like the ghost version of the regular Koopa. And so I have the Dry Bones, really great character. I'm glad I have a Dry Bones. We have one last Mario villain to showcase before we move on to a different series. And that would be our old pal here, KAMEK, the wizard. You know, a magic Koopa, if you will. All sorts of, you know, doing that and throwing stuff at you and causing some troubles, changing the board in Mario Party, all sorts of things. So we have a magic Koopa, KAMEK. Where's Bowser, you might ask? I thought I had a Bowser stuff somewhere, but when I went through all my stuff, I couldn't find it. So if I find any more of these, like I know I have a Koopa. I thought I had a Princess Peach as well too, but we'll continue to look for those, and if we find those, we'll update. But for now, we saw Mario and Luigi and many of the different characters associated with the Super Mario Brothers universe. But let's switch gears now and go to a different game series. I would say tied with the Super Mario Brothers series is this next series that I really have either A, lot of collectible things for, B, a lot of the games, or C, just a great affinity for, and that series is The Legend of Zelda. I'm only going to showcase 2 plush figures from The Legend of Zelda, because we're going to see lots of collectible things later on in a different video. So, to save time and to not be so redundant with things, let's look at 2 things I have plush-wise from The Legend of Zelda. The first one here, of course, is this little miniature Link, and I love this one. This comes from Phantom Hourglass, but a very similar design to Wind Waker and others, but this was a handheld version game, the Phantom Hourglass. Really cool game. Really enjoyed that one, but I love that sort of Toon Link style, one of my favorites. Now that goes alongside here, of course, with Princess Zelda. And this one is from the Wind Waker. This is from the Wind Waker HD remake, which came out for the Wii U. But these versions of Link and Zelda are some of my favorites. I love Breath of the Wild. I love Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time, and I love A Link to the Past. But I just love the design, the aesthetic, the animation of especially Wind Waker, out on the sea, and the way the water looked. I just love it. So I have these cartoon versions of Link and Zelda, That's what we're going to showcase today. We'll see plenty of other Legend of Zelda memorabilia when we look at some of my other collections that aren't plushes in a future video. So stay tuned. Now, I'm not the biggest Pokemon fan in the world. I do enjoy the series, but my brother is definitely all in on Pokemon, like I might be on The Legend of Zelda or Super Mario Brothers. But I do have two plush figures here from not the most recent game, but from one not too far in the past either. This is from Pokemon X and Y. I have two of the starters here. I have Froakie, which was the water type, a little frog here, and I have Chespin, which was the grass type. So I have these two guys here. I like the way that they look. I really do like these ones. Squirtle is probably my all-time favorite Pokemon, and a few others, but I really like the look of these guys and how they look at little tail here. There's a little puff thing going on here, so I really like these two. So I had when this game came out, I really enjoyed X and Y, so I picked these ones up to hold on to have, just, you know, for the heck of it. And so I have Chespin and Froakie. A newer IP that came out recently for Nintendo, first on the Wii U and then on the Nintendo Switch, was a game called Splatoon. I really enjoyed Splatoon. You played as a squid, and you basically went around and did paintball sort of things. You had, you sort of, how much you could tag in the arena, versus the other team is how you won. Also had a really cool one-player story mode where you were kind of trying to free different things from the evil side of like these octopuses and stuff. It was really cool, but I only have one Splatoon figure to show off today, which is sort of the logo in a way. So this is the squid from Splatoon. If you're familiar with the game, you would recognize this. This is a turquoise squid. That's what it looks like in the game. So if you knew Splatoon, you would see that. I really like the game. I play with the Inklings in Super Smash Brothers and in Mario Kart. They have cool designs. We'll see them again when we look at some other Nintendo memorabilia. But for now, here is the squid from Splatoon. So, we're to look at one final game series here in the plushes that I've collected over the years. If you've been enjoying this series, be sure to like the videos, leave a comment, let me know which ones have been your favorite, maybe what you have, if you collect some of these things as well too. I'm looking forward to doing more of these videos if you find them enjoyable, if you like them, if it helps you learn more about me. Hoping it leads to some conversations with people over the internet or in person when that happens again, and we can discuss all of our different collections. But for now, let's take a look at one last game series, and that is one of my all-time favorites, Animal Crossing. Yes, I am totally engaged in the newest one. I just can't stop playing it. I'm probably well over 60 hours at this point. On the Switch version, it is just outstanding. As always, I've been playing it since the GameCube era. Let's take a look at some figures I've collected. I have a lot more Animal Crossing stuff to show in a different video when we look at the different toys I have. But just for looking at the plushes today, we're going to start with this one, which is Cap'n. Now, Cap'n is a really great guy. He will take you on a boat ride across to different places, and he'll sing you a great sea chanty along the way, usually about mayonnaise and pickles and all sorts of stuff. I'm not even making that up. But Cap'n is really one of the great characters in the Animal Crossing series. One of the most iconic characters in all of Animal Crossing is Tay-Tay Slider. And in a recent game, he actually became a DJ. Now, normally he's out there playing his, acoustic guitar, and he comes to your island or your town, and he plays a concert for you. But he was a DJ recently, and I was able to find this plush version of Tay-Tay Slider, the DJ version, which is really, really neat. Again, we have the cool sort of tag there, right? So DJ Tay-Tay, if you will. He's got his cool glasses, his possibly Beats headphones there. So we have that version. We got the turntables up on top, right? He's dropping a hot mix there. So we have DJ Tay-Tay all around. It's on all sides. He's a dog that plays guitar normally, but in this game, he was a DJ. So I picked that one up, which is really, really neat. Now this last one I'm going to showcase is really the coolest and probably the one that started the collection at all. So I probably didn't have a whole lot of Nintendo collectible things at that point, at least plush-wise, until I picked up this one. And that one is right here. And this is the villager from Animal Crossing. So, you can customize your character, and you might have a character that looks just like this with your fishing pole and your cool little fishing hat and, the different sort of clothes you have. But what's cool about this is where I picked this one up. I bought this from Nintendo of America in Redmond, Washington. I was out in that area for a conference many, many years ago, and I stayed afterwards for a vacation. And I was in Seattle, and I decided to take a bus out to Redmond. I saw the Microsoft complex, and I also walked onto the Nintendo campus. Walked in the main door of Nintendo, met the receptionist. They told me where I could go, what was open to the public, which wasn't much, other than the actual Nintendo Repair Center, where you might have sent all your things, or where you might have called if you had Nintendo Power for some tips for things, and they had a gift shop there. And I picked up this Animal Crossing Villager figure, which is really outstanding. So this is really cool. It's from Nintendo itself, so awesome. Okay, so there is my Nintendo plush collection. I have a lot more Nintendo stuff than that, trust me. That's just the plush stuff. I mean, look behind me. You're probably already seeing stuff that you're maybe a little tantalized. What is that red hat up there with the eyes? What about that green one over there, or that other red one up on the shelf? So there's a lot of things even behind me that are sort of, if you look even closer, you might even see a sword. So there's a lot of things just in this screenshot. Like a good video game, there's lots of Easter eggs hidden that maybe are pointing to things that we'll see in another episode. But for now, that's where we're going to leave it. We'll see you next time. We have one more short video to wrap up all the plushes, and then we'll be shifting gears into some other sort of collections I have. I have a lot of stuff. I collect a lot of stuff. Is any of this stuff actually worth anything? I don't know. But it has sentimental value, and it has significance to me, and maybe someone will want it one day as well, too. There's always a story to tell with this stuff. So with that, we'll leave it here. The game is far from over. We'll see you next time.